Yo, how's it going everyone? It's me, Arctic. Today's video we're going to be going over a complete build guide for Sayu. I'm going to be talking about the sub-DPS guide for her and also the main DPS guide for her, along with weapon choice and artifact choice at the end. But if any of that interests you, remember to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. We're making some pretty good progress. But anyway, let's get back to the video. So Sayu is a DPS healer, and what that means is that she's going to be similar to how you would build a Gene, where you build Gene with like stats like attack percent over like HP percent, that kind of stuff. And also Sayu is going to be a pretty good sub DPS, better than a Gene as a sub DPS, I would say. Gene's more of a swap in. Sayu is more of like a sustained DPS slash like off-field DPS with her ultimate. For Sayu's base stats, her base attack goes up to 244, and so that's a pretty good base attack for a 4-star. It's actually higher than Gene as well, so you're going to be able to get more attack percent on Sayu than you would on a Gene as well. Sayu also comes with an Elemental Mastery substat, and since the Elemental Mastery buffs, this is actually going to be very good, because what it's going to do is going to factor in a lot more swirl damage on your teams. Sayu's E basically is like a little mini rolling ball thing, and what this is going to do is give you like elemental absorption, so you can run around and do different types of elemental damage to opponents. And this effect lasts for up to like 10 seconds. You can roll around dealing damage. Now the multipliers aren't necessarily that high for this little thing, but I think this hits very fast, and you also get absorb damage. And then it also has a little kick at the end, so in terms of actual DPS, this could be a pretty good option. Like, you can also just use this as a like quick damage dealer thing to debuff enemies if you are using like a 4-piece Viridescent, which I recommend for like support Sayu, which is going to be probably the best to use. Now our burst right here, basically what it does is it summons this Muji Muji Dharma, and this is basically like a little raccoon that's going to do attack or heal you, depending on what HP you're at. Now this attack that it does scale off of your attack percent for its healing, so it's basically going to heal off of your attack percent. It does have an activation healing, and then it also has a overtime healing, which is going to be pretty good. Talents are basically oriented more towards support as well, and so her second talent right here factors in with her ults, and basically it gives you some extra healing capabilities for your team, and also increases your AoE size of the attack of this whenever you get healed. And this first passive right here also is a healing one, and it's based off of your Elemental Mastery and when you swirl, and so it's going to give you 300 HP for every time you swirl, but plus another 1.2% HP for every point of Elemental Mastery Sayu has, so it's going to be a pretty decent healing option. You can either spec totally into Elemental Mastery, or you can spec totally into attack percent and you'll still be fine on healing, which I think is what makes this character very good as both a sub DPS support, and you could also main DPS as well. Blackcliff Slasher is going to be a great option for DPS Sayu. Now you can also use this as a sub DPS weapon to round out your like crit damage on your stats. And so what this is going to do is after to defeat opponents, you're getting 12% damage up to 30 seconds. And then that's also going to give you up to 3 stacks of this, so you basically can get like a lot of attack percent off of that. And so this option will be very good for like DPS and I guess sub DPS Sayu. Kick is going to be good if you are going for like an attack percent build on your Sayu. Also this on hit with normal charge attacks, you have a 50% chance to get one of these big damage hits. So even if you don't have Sayu on the field that much, you can do like an auto attack or two and get some extra burst damage right there. This does have a high base attack, so you're going to be getting a lot of attack off of this and attack substat, so it's going to be very good for DPS Sayu. Slasher I think is going to be the best for sub DPS and also support Sayu, and the reason behind this is because it comes with an Elemental Mastery stat up to 165, so that's going to give you more healing based on her passive, and also give you a lot more swirl damage, which I think is what Sayu is going to be really good at. Also increases your damage against opponents affected by Hydro or Electro. So what this is going to do is if you're going to be very viable for like Electro charged comps. And so what you're going to basically do is put Sayu in any comp you kind of want. And since she is a healer, you don't have to run like a anemo that isn't a healer as well. And so you're basically going to get a lot of consistent debuffs with this, and also consistent damage if you are using Hydro and Electric characters. It's going to be very good for DPS and Sub-DPS Sayu, and the reason why it's good for Sub-DPS is because these stacks of extra bonus damage last when you're off the field as well. And so at R1 you'd get basically 35% damage off of this. R5 you get up to 50% extra damage off of this weapon. Now 50% damage is a very large amount, and what this basically does is like it basically boosts like all of your damage by 50%, which is actually pretty good. I use this on my Eula all the time, and it is a very strong weapon on Eula. And also its crit rate substat is very nice for like main DPS type of characters, sub DPS type of characters, very good in general for boosting out your damage. This is probably going to be a very good option for sub DPS Sayu, and basically this gives you a increase to all damage by 8%, and also after you use your elemental burst, your normal and charge attacks on hit create vacuum blades that do 80% of your attack as damage to opponents. And those vacuum blades last for 20 seconds or 8 vacuum blades. So if you do want to do some auto attacks, this weapon is very good. And you also get a very good energy recharge, and since Sayu's energy cost is 80, this could be very good for maintaining your burst uptime and off-field sub-DPS capabilities as well. Wolf's Gravestone is going to be great for like a support Sayu and also like a main DPS Sayu. You can use this weapon as well. It increases your attack by 20% on hits. On enemies with less than 30% HP, you're going to get 40% extra attack, and that'll basically give you like tons of attack on your Sayu. Like you get lots and lots of attack with this. Now the Kitsuragi Slasher is going to be the new craftable weapon that's going to be releasing with Inazuma, and this one's going to be pretty good as well. It increases your elemental skill damage by 6%, and that's actually going to affect Sayu's like little spin damage as well, not just the kick at the end. And so after you activate your elemental skill, you lose 3 energy, but regenerate 3 energy every 2 seconds for the next 6 seconds. And so what this basically does is give you like 6 energy after 9 seconds have passed. And so this will work very good with Sayu. It also comes with energy recharge, which is going to be good for keeping up your Sayu's burst time. And so overall, I think this is probably going to be one of the better weapons to use on Sayu. Sayu, if you are going like a physical damage build, since Sayu doesn't have like physical infusion, or she doesn't have infusion on her auto attacks, the Pale Flame set is probably going to be a good 4-piece. And since you can press her elemental skill and not just hold it with the 10-second cooldown, you can basically get these stacks on here as well, and you're going to be getting lots of damage off of that. Wondrous Troop is going to be a good set as well, increase your elemental mastery by 80%, and I wouldn't use the 4-piece because she's not a Catalyst or Bow user. However, the 2-piece on this is going to be very good if you're going for elemental mastery with your build, and so that is what I would recommend this for. You can use a Noblesse Oblige as well if you are going for a sub-DPS Sayu. This is going to be good for like boosting out overall damage for your whole team with the 4-piece, or you can just boost out elemental burst damage by 20%, and also use like a 2-piece VV set, and that'll basically give you a lot better rounded out damage. The Reminiscence of Shime is going to be a very good set if you are going for just auto attack damage with your Sayu. Now this one is actually probably going to be basically the exact same as if you are running a Pale Flame set, and it's because it's just of how it gives you bonus damage to like your auto attacks by like 50%. And so you can basically use either of these inversely. However, this one has an energy cost, so keep that in mind. The Insulation set could also be pretty decent on Sayu as well, since you are going to be getting extra increased energy recharge, and your elemental burst damage is going to be increased by like 25% with the actual life stats for this. And you can get up to 75% extra damage off of this. This is going to be very good for sub-DPS Sayu. Other than that, that's it for Sayu. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. A like down below is very much appreciated. But anyway, it's been me, Arctic. I will see you guys next time. Farewell.